Hey everyone, Paul Graff here with Remax Elite Brokers in Snohomish, Washington. Welcome to Sound Moves, the podcast about real estate in the Puget Sound region and sound advice for your life. This is my video series where I'm interviewing real estate agent referral partners around the country. And today I get to introduce you to Brooke Sines. Brooke is an agent in 2 states, so that's a particular interest to you guys. And she and I originally met through Workman Success Systems. I was on their website and saw that she was an agent in an area that I had a client moving to. So, Brooke, welcome to my podcast.
Hi, Paul. Thanks so much for having me today. I'm honored to be on with you.
Yeah. How long have you been in the real estate business?
About 9.5 years now. So it feels like just yesterday, but then also it feels like it's been a while.
Cool. Well, why don't you give us a brief background of who you are and where you grew up, what other jobs you've had in your family and things like that.
Absolutely. So I grew up in the West Michigan, Grand Rapids, Michigan
Yeah,
area, which is why one of my teams is there.
nice.
My father owned a health and fitness center and a banquet
Okay.
facility as I was growing up.
Excellent.
And so I think my first job was working for him when I was in fourth grade, and I would dust
Wow.
off fitness equipment. But I've
Uh-huh.
always had I don't know, call it a love for business and working
Uh-huh.
hard. And so he taught me a lot of how to look at everything that you're doing as though you're an owner of the business, regardless of if you are or are not. So you're always giving it your all. And I'm very grateful for that. So after that, and after he sold that business, I went into being an entertainment agent. And so I
Uh-huh.
booked entertainers, motivational speakers, and such around the country to
Okay.
college
Nice.
universities. And so I say that love for the detail oriented and kind of the OCD mentality came from that
Uh-huh.
and carried over into real estate.
Okay. Very cool. So how long have you been in real estate then?
So it's been 9.5 years, and I got
Okay.
started because I was doing that entertainment business and I was traveling almost every Thursday to Sunday. And
Okay.
finally, my husband said, okay, what are we doing here? Because we had started having kids, and then the
Uh-huh.
kids got old enough to say, Mom, please don't
Pretty
go on
well.
that trip. And I mean, talk about ripping my heart out. So I was like, okay, I got to figure something out.
Okay. Very cool. And I mentioned earlier that our connection was through Workman Success Systems, but besides that, we are both Remax agents too. So why don't you tell us a bit about what you like about Workman Success Systems and Remax as a brand too?
Yes, absolutely. So Remax, I think my kids think that my middle name is Remax, but I always joke that I bleed red, white, and blue. So I'm very appreciative to be a part of such a large brand where the brand
Hmm.
awareness, I do think, the high caliber of agent that Remax attracts. I'm just proud to be a Remax agent, and Workman Success Systems, one of my first years in the business,
Uh,
really taught me to look at the business with a CEO hat on and
mm,
not just the real estate mindset. And I think
okay.
that really helped catapult me into just where I am today, and not that I'm as much as where I exactly want to be today. I always have larger goals and aspirations, of
Right.
course. But
Yeah.
I think it's really helped just grow me and be able to have the systems and processes in place to have two
Uh-huh.
teams in two different states, for example.
Okay. Nice. And why don't you share with our audience about the teams that you have now? Because you have a team in North Carolina and Michigan, the Grand Allure home team. Why don't you tell us how that got started and kind of, the ideal clients that you work with?
Absolutely. So I got started in the West Michigan area, as that's where I was born and raised. I've always had a love for the Carolinas. And
Okay.
so I had lived there for a few years after college and
Huh.
had always loved it, and kind of
Yeah.
joked with my husband when we met that, hey, I'll only date you or marry you if someday you say that we can live in the Carolinas. And so, I mean, that only took me 10 years to convince him. But so my business got started there in
Okay.
Michigan, and that was my baby. And
Yep.
that's where our family is. That's where a lot of my sphere, our friends are. And so I wanted to keep that going and then, start the business in the Carolinas. And I got a great opportunity to be able to do that and keep both going. So it's been great. Lots of work.
Excellent. Excellent. Yeah. Well, what do you offer your clients to stand out from the competition?
So I will say that our biggest thing, I know a lot of agents say we're with you every step of the way and,
Mhm.
walk you through step by step. We very much are that for our clients, but I also feel that the educational component is so
Okay.
huge. And that's part of, we educate you before, during, and after the process, and we don't leave
Okay.
our clients at the closing table. So
No.
they'll hear from us. I mean, we do client appreciation events, which I know we'll get into in a little bit here.
Yep.
We send out birthday cards, house anniversary, wedding anniversary cards, if applicable, kids' birthdays.
Nice.
So we really stay in touch with our clients, but then also on the educational side, we have videos, infographics, PDF guides. I mean, really, whatever our client's learning style, we want to meet them there and then
Yeah.
explain so that as we're going through the process, they are well educated and
Okay.
making their own decisions while we're there along the way, alongside of them as well.
Okay. Excellent. Why don't you tell us a bit about some of those events you do?
Yeah. So some of my favorites. So we've done cider tasting, wine tasting. We've done all sorts of different events, movie
Okay.
events. I think the movie events are one of my favorites. So we rent out a whole
Okay.
theater, and then we have the families or singles bring a friend. It's applicable to
Uh-huh.
all different types of clients,
Okay.
and we
Nice.
do a soda and popcorn and candy and all that fun stuff. The other event that has been awesome for our clients is we hire a professional photographer to come
Uh-huh.
in the fall, and we do an orchard event. So we find a local orchard to partner with. We either bring in a food truck or do cider and donuts or something that kind of goes along with that fall feel. But as
Wow.
families or as couples are getting ready to send out maybe holiday cards or update photos on social media, they have these photos done by a professional photographer. So they get 3 to 5 high res edited images to use for whatever they would like. And that's
Uh-huh.
been something, I mean, we've done birth announcements, adoption announcements,
Nice.
engagements. I mean, it's been so fun. And so we've done that for years, and that's probably one of my favorite.
Very cool. So who are your ideal clients?
Oh, geez. I like to say, I mean, the ones that really, um, I don't know, I kind of joke that the engineer types that are very detail oriented and want to know the
Okay.
stats and all the data, because that's something I don't necessarily
That kind of goes
find
in
the
with the
data and
education, right?
stats.
So
Yeah, yeah. So I follow what others say, and I can parrot that and help
yeah.
explain it. And so I think those clients really appreciate it because um you got to have a love for that to be able
Yep.
to have it in your toolbox.
Excellent. Well, what are some great successes that you can share with our audience today?
Oh my goodness. I have to tell you, Paul, and you probably already know this, but I'm a big family person.
Uh-huh.
So I will say my greatest success to date is being a mom and a wife and keeping it all together. So I'm not
Nice.
crazy today.
Uh,
But we had a goal of visiting all 50 states, and this year
Uh-huh.
we're able to achieve that. And so
Excellent.
a lot of people in this business, tend to tend to work around the
Uh,
clock, right? We get into
yeah.
it for the flexibility, but yet we're
Yeah.
working all the time.
Yeah.
And so I'm big on that work life balance. I mean, I am a mom. That's important to me, is to, be a mom, be a
Uh-huh.
wife first and foremost, and also to give my clients the attention and care and what I would want being walked through the process as well. So I'll say, that's my biggest achievement as far as
Uh-huh.
professionally. I will say that I'm excited to have been able to have the teams in 2 different states. I think
Right.
that technology has really made that possible, and also really, I mean, having the Workman systems and tools, because without that, I never would have thought bigger and thought that was
Uh-huh.
possible.
Okay. Very nice. Well, what about some favorite books, movies, or quotes that you've enjoyed that inspire you and that have given you a passion for your work?
This is a very difficult question. Some of the I'm an avid book reader and
Uh-huh.
everything else, movie watcher and all the rest. So I'll say the quote, my favorite quote that I probably use quite often is, "She believed she could, so she did."
Uh-huh.
And I just think it's so short, sweet, to the point, and absolutely on point. And then favorite movies, of course, hopefully, you can share this with me. Grease and Dirty Dancing are
Oh
a
yeah.
tie, both of my
Nice.
favorites.
Nice.
Oldies but goodies.
Yep.
And then I will say books. I just recently read Die with Zero, which is
Okay.
a very interesting book, and I highly recommend it to anybody and everybody. It's not exactly what you would think as far as what they cover, but by chapter 5, they had me hooked. So
Wow.
get to
Okay.
chapter 5, and it'll change
Interesting.
your life. And then I always go back to, I share with my team and everything, never split the difference. I
That's a
love
fantastic book.
I
Yeah.
love it, and he uses the analogy of going to, or the story of where he goes to buy a car, and that story in the book. And so you better believe that when my husband went to buy a car, I was like,
Mhm.
"Oh, no, that's not the best they can do. Go back and try again." And sure enough, he got another $1,000 off, but I loved it. It was awesome.
Yeah. Excellent. Excellent. Well, anything else you want to share with our audience before I go into where they can find you?
Oh
Just about
gosh,
real
I
estate
will.
or no?
Yeah, I'll only say, I mean, if anyone is looking to possibly make a move to the West Michigan area, I will say that there's huge growth. West Michigan
Okay.
is known as Beer City, USA, also
Huh.
has some top-notch hospitals there, and is the founding city of Art Prize, which is one of the largest art competitions in the world. And so that's a fun fact that a lot of people don't know. And I will say about Charlotte and the Queen City, it's becoming the fintech capital of the world. So we've always had, or I'm sorry, of the
Okay.
country, but we've
Nice.
always had the financial market here. And we're definitely growing with technology and still having kind of that modern Southern charm. But we have 113 people moving here a day right now.
Wow.
So we are growing big time.
Excellent. And then I guess another question about your two teams. How big are your teams in Carolina and Michigan?
So in the Carolinas, we have 6 agents, including myself, and in the West Michigan market, we have 5 agents, including myself, because I
Okay.
obviously work both, and
Right.
we have a couple admins and a couple TCs, that
Excellent.
transaction coordinators, that
Yep.
work per file.
Wow. Nice. That's so cool. So where can people go to find you? Your website, if you're doing any kind of social media or YouTube, things like that. So,
Oh yeah, all of the above, Paul. So YouTube, we're at Grand Allure Home Group, and that covers both states. Our website is grandallurehomegroup.com, and you can choose West Michigan or Carolinas from there. And you can also
okay.
follow, I've had a lot of risk media articles and publications that are
Nice.
are posted online, and my
Mhm.
email is Brooke with an E at grandallurehomegroup.com.
And you're also still a coach with Workman Success Systems, correct?
I am. Thank you for that
Yeah.
reminder. I'm a
So
senior coach
that's
with
another
Workman
place you can go to
Success
find her
Systems.
too.
Yes, yes. I've been a coach for 8 years now, which is crazy, but I love every minute. I'm a coach and a coaching client.
Yeah, nice. That's so cool. Well, thank you
Yeah.
so much for joining me today, Brooke. It's been a pleasure chatting with you, and I look forward to getting this out to my clients and those others who listen to this podcast. So,
Thank you. I love having you as a fantastic referral partner.
likewise. All right. Take care, my friend.
Thank you. You too.